Hey everybody, it's Margaret, and it's Monday, and boy, is it Monday. Um, oh my goodness. So yeah, it's time for the weekly sales update. I'm in the Houston area, as many of you know, and we've had this crazy weather happening where it's just been torrential downpours. I ended up keeping the kids home from school because I was sure they were going to cancel it, but then they didn't because of flooding and whatnot. But it worked out, and then we lost power. So I started getting ready for everything, and then we lost power for a big giant chunk of the day. So yeah, and so I had this planned, and I had the listing challenge, and then I'm doing a live show this evening, a Q&A with Chris Carone, the walking picker. So it just sort of the power came back on a few minutes ago, and I was like, okay, I gotta get this done. Okay, let's go. You could have waited, but you know how it is. You've got your brain set for what's happening today, and then it doesn't. But now it does, so it's okay. But that was my morning. Let me scooch around and get everything ready. You have been so patient, and I'm gonna show you my numbers. Yeah, my numbers. And you got a song thrown in as a bonus. Here we go. Let's make sure we can see everything. Alrighty, so my theory of listing more equals more sales, I think, again, I've proven because I have not been listing more and my sales have been going, and so I was looking back in my sales down here, and I can see a correlation, like when I look back at certain weeks, like I can tell, like, oh, this was when I was listing, because then it sort of flows for a couple, like 2 weeks, and then after that, it just crashes out and there's not so many sales. And then, it's like I see it happening over and over again. That little wave rides along for a certain amount of time and then gone. I'm clicking everything, and I know it's going to bother me later, but here it is. It's done. All right, that's what I get, right? Boom, boom, boom. There. Okay, don't mess with it anymore. Okay, so I sold quite a few things, but not as many as before. I'm still pretty happy with my numbers. It's not that the last few weeks has been like $400, which is great for me because I'm not usually making that much on eBay and Etsy. I have my FBA, and I started merch, which is just a little, I get little bits from that. I think my last payout was like $20, but I'm still thinking, you know what? That's $20. I was talking to my mom about it, and I was like, I know some people are really doing well with merch, and I feel like, hey, I'm doing well. That's $20 because that pays for my kids' school lunches. That's awesome. That's $20 other that I don't have to come up with somewhere. So anyway, there's these little bits coming in here and there, and then it makes me happy. I'm, again, like grateful, that, hey, somebody bought a shirt that I made, and I got $3 from it, or $4, or however much. It's like $3 or $4 because my shirts are cheap. Anyway, how did I get talking about my shirts? Anyway, so let's talk about what sold on eBay and Etsy. This week, let's start with Etsy. So I sold this big hug mug, and I actually sold one of these a few weeks back that had some pin marks in it, and it sold pretty well, and I was very happy with it. I picked this up for 49 cents, and it sold for $29.99 with shipping and all that. So after all of that, my net was $26.34, which I think is amazing for a mug that I bought for 50 cents, I think. Next, this is some Annie fabric that's cut and ready to be made into like a pillow sham. It's not the actual pillow yet. I hope the lady understood that, but it says it in the title and all that. So I paid $0.25 for this, and I love Annie, by the way. Don't get me started singing Annie, because unless you want me to, let me know, because then I can sing for you. The sun come out. That's not my favorite though. Anyway, $16.99 is what it sold for. And this lady really wanted it. She sent me a message on Etsy saying, can you please reserve it for me, because I don't get paid till Friday. And I saw it, and I went to respond to her a couple hours later, and she bought it before. I don't know. I guess she got the money together, because I guess she couldn't wait. So it sold. And after shipping and fees, my net was $16.62. I know you're wondering, what is your favorite song from Annie? It's Miss Hannigan's Little Girls song. Hello, little girls. Everywhere I look, I can see them. Yeah, she's a genius. Anyway. Okay, here here we go. So this is another mug that I just recently posted. You know, a lot of these mugs that you'll see here, we did that mug challenge in our group, International League of Thrifters. And this is one of those that I said it looked like a Far Side mug, but it wasn't a Far Side mug. And I was kind of dubious about it selling, and it did. So middle-aged chicken, dang, now I can't remember why I came over here. Like why the chicken crossed the road. I bought this mug for $1, which is kind of much for buying a mug, I find, but I bought it. But it sold for $17.99, so my net there was $10.24. I feel like that's off. I feel like it should be higher than that. I'll go back and look at that later. Okay, because that's like a third, and usually Etsy's not that much of a, anyway, I'll take a peek later. This Vespa patch sold, and I priced it high. I bought this when I was in London. I loved it. I had like a messenger bag that I put patches on, and I was going to put it on there. And I had some other ones that I picked up that I never did. But okay, so I sold it. So I paid $0 for it, but I think I paid £1 or $2 for it when I was in London. Sold it for $12.99, and so my net there is $12.65. Next, I'm going back to that mug because that's going to drive me crazy. New window. Let's find out. Etsy fee. You're probably like, wait a minute, Margaret. Now the flow's thrown off. But it's going to bother me. It's going to bother me. Middle-aged chicken mug. No, is that the one? Wait, where did it go that I said? That's not right. Yeah. So, sale price, $17.99. Maybe it's right, and I'm just crazy. Shipping price, it cost me... I mean, but then maybe I entered the wrong number. You know, I looked at the wrong line. It shouldn't be so low. Says me. 610. Uh-oh, I messed it up. No. I'll entertain you with renditions from Annie. How about that? Little girls everywhere I look. I can see them. If I ring little necks, surely I will get an acquittal. Some women are dripping with diamonds. Some women are dripping with pearls. Lucky me, look at what I'm dripping with. Little girls. I was right. So yeah, I was like, that is not right. That's like a third of the money off. No, the Etsy fees are way lower than that. So I went back in and entered. I must have entered something in incorrectly earlier. So yeah, my net there was $15.09. I'm so glad I went back and did that. It was bugging me. I'm like, no, that's not right. And you got to hear more of little girls. Aren't you lucky? Okay, so next up, this sold, this snowflake obsidian necklace pendant, which I thought was so pretty. And again, this is another one of those things that I put a high number on just because I thought it was so cool and unique. And I actually have something similar, but it's not snowflake obsidian. It's like a green turquoise. I can't think of the name of it, but it's kind of like this. And I was willing to spend the money to buy it. I never wear it though. Maybe I ought to start wearing it because I really like it. It's super pretty. It's this green. Anyway, so I put that I spent $10 on this pendant. I couldn't find it in my spreadsheet, but I remember it in a haul video. But I have so many haul videos, I didn't want to go back looking for it. So I put that I bought it for $10. It was probably less, I'm thinking, but I just put that on there. So it sold for $54.99. I still had free shipping on it, but my net there was $37.77. And then this ended up selling this morning. I had a lady messaging me about the little turtle, and man, the tape on the bottom of this little turtle was the dickens to get off. So I was like, okay, that's it. I'm just leaving it, and which was a bad move. But she was like, oh, do you think it'll come off? Because I want to give it as a gift. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I'm going to go in there and get that tape off if it kills me. You know, that older tape, and it just sticks, and it's like the stickiest stick. And so I was trying different things, and finally the rubbing alcohol and lots of elbow grease got that sticky off. And so then I sent her the pictures, through Etsy Messenger, and said, oh, yay, it came off here. That was a bad business practice on my side. I should have just taken care of it. But she was really wanting it and thought it was super pretty. So she bought it right away as soon as I sent her those pictures. And she bought it for $24.99. This was something in my grandmother's collection. So my net there was $23.45. And that's it for Etsy. So let's take a look at eBay. On eBay, if you remember last week, I had 3 of these mugs, and I lotted 2 of them together, and then I sold one by itself. And the one sold, and I could have held out for the more. I sold the other 2 for $20 for the pair. I think I had them listed for 30. But it's like, okay, I'm not in the business of like holding items. Some things I'll hold for the higher price, but these are mugs. So come on, I'll take a $10, $15 profit on some mugs any day. Funny face, So here we go. Where did you go? Here you go. I bought this for 50 cents, sold for $14.24. There was a sale going on, and so my net was $11.78. And this was that I had to get creative with the photos again on this, because on the black you couldn't see the silver. I had to sit it on something. And then there was some talk in the group about in the International League of Thrifters. Somebody posted one of these accordion hooks. And we're like, what is this called? I can't remember. And there was back and forth about people saying, oh, these just don't sell like they used to because somebody keeps making videos about them, and everybody's buying them now. Sorry if it was you. But anyway, and then I thought it was so funny. Then within the next 12 hours, I sold one. I'll pick them up. $2, maybe, I won't probably spend more than $3 on it. But look at what I sold it for. I'm serious, y'all. And on Etsy, I get a lot of, a few have sold overseas, so they'll pay the shipping for these wooden ones because they just don't make them like they used to, I guess. So I picked this up for $2 and sold it for $24.62. And that, $19.20 is my net on that. So I don't mind waiting. Yeah, I've had it for a couple months. It's not my business practice. Some things I want to sell quick, but I don't mind holding something that it's going to pay me $20, in like 2 or 3 months. It may have been longer. But still, it doesn't take up that much space. It's cool. We're cool. All right, moving on. So this was another mug that sold in Marathon. I tell you what, that's oil and gas stuff, petroleum company type things. I sold a Marathon hat. And then also the photo, we talked a little bit about this when we were doing the challenge for the mugs, that rather than having this image for the mug, because if somebody's looking for a Marathon mug, everybody knows what the shape of a mug is, unless it's got an unusual, like crushed shape or weird shape. Like it's a mug shaped, So I put the photo in there, and on my mug video, I forgot to mention it, and then somebody mentioned it, and I was like, oh, I forgot, So anyway, I can't remember who it was. I was like, oh yeah, don't forget this. I am rambling today, but okay, we'll be good. I'm checking the time. I got to talk to Chris in like an hour, so I got to hurry. I bought this mug for 50 cents. I took a best offer of $15 on it, again, because I'm cool with making a $12.47 net profit on a 50-cent mug that I bought. So I could have held out, but I didn't. And then this is the mug of the day, y'all. Oh my gosh. And I mentioned this a few times. I bought this mug for 50 cents, right? 50 cents, yep. I had no idea. I just thought, man, this is a cool mug. Happiness is a cup of coffee and a really good book. And then on the back of it, it says, and a piece of cake. And then the inside, it says, happiness comes in a mug. And it was just so cool. Happiness comes in a mug. And then along here, it says happiness. And it was just a nice, thick weight cup. You could tell it was just like awesome. So I was like, man, this is nice. Okay, I'm going to pick this up. Got it home. Put it up in the closet with all the other mugs. Mug challenge comes along. And I started doing research. And I looked this thing up. I found 2 that were sold. One was sold with another mug, and the pair of them sold for $90-something. And then one of this mug sold by itself for like 50-something, 54. And then I couldn't find any more. And so I was like, oh my goodness. So I put it up for $76 because there were no more. And these other 2 sold for this giant price. It was in perfect shape. Yeah, and so like right away, I think I had 5 or 6 watchers, which I don't really pay that close attention to, but then I started getting messages. Hey, what is this blue spot? You see this? I'm pointing with my finger like you can see it. This blue spot right here, what is that? So I go and get it, and I realize, oh, there's a little blue E over here. So, and it was raised, like it's under the glaze, and I think it's something to do with the manufacturing of the mug. I'm not sure, because it's the same exact color as this little blue E that's also under the glaze. Round and round. So then just, the next day or the day after, I got a best offer of $65 for this mug. And what did I say? Absolutely. I will take $65 for this mug. So my net profit for this mug, people who say they don't like to sell mugs, was $60.77. No joke. $60, I ask you. That's got to be a nice mug. But it is a nice mug, so all right. Let's just sit there for a minute. Okay. I like $60 for a mug. And then this was another random, like, why did I can't even remember why I actually listed it. Because I usually take a lot of the ornaments that I have and I put them in my booth because I have this ornament tree in the booth. But I thought I'm going to list this, and I'm glad I did. It's sold, I picked it up for a quarter, maybe less. It sold for $8.58 on sale. The shipping was really high on it, so I need to look at that. But anyway, my net was $10.03 for this kitty cat ornament. I think it's because things hadn't worked out. Long story. Anyway, so here we've got this vintage reproduction Northwood grape and ivy green-footed glass hat pin holder. And this was tricky because my grandmother, she collected hat pin holders and sugar shakers. I also have a actual authentic Northwood grape and ivy green-footed hat pin holder. And when I was listing these, but way back when, it was the dickens for me to figure out which ones were reproductions and which ones were real. And I did all this research, and I wish I wasn't making YouTube videos at the time, or I would have done one about it. Because, I would get messages like, are you sure this is actual? And I would have to tell people, yes, of course, this, and well, not of course, but here's how I know, and here's blah, 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 the research. And, if I'm wrong, I'm happy to say so. And then I started saying, maybe I should just put reproduction on all of them just to cover my backside. But there's money in the real ones. Anyway, so this one sold. It was on sale. It sold for $28.53. It was my grandmother, so it was $0 for me. So my net there was $24.72. Yeah. And then some more of my watchmaker tools sold. These from that lot of watchmaker stuff. So when I parted it all out, it was about $3 per lot that I sold. It sold for $15.74, so my net was $12.93. So that is it. So my numbers for the week, I made $283.82 net from my sales on eBay and Etsy. And as I was making this, I realized that I haven't made my Amazon. I've been trying to make an Amazon sales video for the month. And now we're in April, and I haven't done March's yet. So maybe later this week I can get my March Amazon numbers. And I've gone in. Since they've asked for recall. If you're doing Amazon FBA, they sent out a message saying, for the month of April, they'll waive the fee to send back things for you or destroy them or whatever you want to get done. So I had a few things recalled. Some of the higher ticket items, like a collectible doll and these Puff the Magic Dragon plush dragons. And there was something else I had recalled too. Oh, some like bubbles that were like frozen Anna and Elsa bubbles, because I wasn't going to get that much for them. And I had enough that I could probably sell them on a local garage sale site for just as much, minus the fees. So, because they make great party favors is what I'm thinking. Where was I going with that? Oh, yeah. So when I was looking through there, I thought, you know what? Some of this stuff has been sitting, because I started reevaluating like what I have there, because I have like 900 things there. So I started looking at like what I've had there for a long time and just saying, I think it's time to just drop the prices. I don't usually chase the bottom, but I started thinking, okay, some of these things I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do it. So like once a day, I'll go through and check on these particular items that have been there for over a year, and just the lowest price, unless it gets to $7.99. Once it gets to $7.99, I usually, there's a few things that are less, but at that point you're basically paying Amazon, so I'd rather just get it recalled. So that's kind of what I've been doing. So I've had more sales on Amazon this month. I don't know if it'll show up in my March one, but in April, but they're lower prices, but I've had more sales. So anyway, that's that. So I'll get my Amazon video out later this week probably, and then yeah. So like I said earlier, this like an hour, I'll be talking to Chris Carone, the walking picker, and doing a Q&A. I had so much fun with the Q&A with Nick Hills and he said, you ought to do this, Margaret. You know, people enjoy watching, you know, reseller chats, and people enjoy, I don't know. And then I think, okay, I'm going to ask silly questions. Some of it'll be serious, but then some of it'll be kind of fun questions, because you know, most of you know the YouTubers, and you know like where they stand on things and how they got started, and yeah, we'll go over that kind of stuff. But I thought, but do you know how many jelly beans Nick Hills can fit in his mouth? Probably not. Can he fit his fist in his mouth? The world wants to know, right? So yeah, that's that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So thanks so much for watching, you guys. Find me on Facebook, Texas Gal Treasures, also in the International League of Thrifters. I have just started trying out Twitter this week, and not for like just this is my look at the things in my shop kind of things, not like that. Just to see if I can figure this Twitter world out. So follow me on Twitter at TXGalTreasures if you want. All right, so thanks so much for watching, you guys. I will see you in like an hour. Make sure you go out and enjoy yourselves. Bye.